All right, good morning. Hey, we are live. As you guys may have seen in here, we have an actual famous person in here, Topic Thunder. She used to be kind of funny. To be famous. I get a background here. Wait a sec. Anyways, she's actually coming back to the community. If you guys remember when she first joined the community, she was everywhere talking about all kinds of subjects and just putting herself out there and talking about philosophy and science and giving her opinions. But then she kind of vanished for a little while. And I've been trying to keep in touch with her, trying to coax her to come back in, and she's kind of decided to do so. So this is kind of a welcome back hangout. I'm at Applebees right now. I'm having a something or other for $1. It's got rum. I don't care. So it's good enough for me. But I've got another drink on the way. I wanted mimosas today. I actually put it on Twitter. Should I stay home? Should I sleep more? Should I do a hangout, or should I go have mimosas? And everybody voted mimosas. So I went out to go have a mimosa. They don't have any champagne here. So I'm really bummed.
Is it a champagne there?
Yeah, champagne and orange juice, right? And
I want champagne.
But you're having what now?
Tea.
Tea. Yeah. We're gonna call that tea. See, British people are funny. They'll call anything tea. It doesn't matter what they're drinking. It's tea. It could have like that much whiskey or bourbon in it, but if it has a drop of tea, it's tea. Right? Is that how it works?
Sure.
This is the sweetest drink I've ever had in my life.
Have a volume to it. This, in terms of the alcohol level.
Yeah, that's tea, people. I'm gonna go on a diabetic coma here. I swear to God, you have no idea how this sweet drink is. Anyways, I know people are real busy on Sundays. There's like 5,000 other shows going on, so I usually get my stuff out of the way. I know we got Atheist Experience going on. I think soon we have a few other things, but Topic Thunder, I wanted to again bring you back and introduce you to everybody. You were really, gung-ho when you first got into the community, and then you kind of vanished. And I'm not going to go into details about why per se, but what's your goal when you come back? What do you want to do? I mean, you got a channel, right? Sort of.
Yeah.
And you have videos.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah. You're cutting in and out, so I'm trying to sort of ascertain what you're saying. Sorry, it's probably my Wi-Fi.
Well, see, I'm American, you're British, and therefore there's a difference in language here, right? Because my English and your English not necessarily the same thing.
Do not insult the Queen's, my good sir.
The Queen's English. Do we need a Google Translator here?
I think we may. Yeah, I think it might be required. No. I think we speak the language of logic, my friend, and therefore, that is, we're all bound by it. So essentially, we should be able to get.
I think so. I'm pretty adept at understanding most people. You make no sense to me half the time, but I'll figure it out. But anyways, like I said,
Are you so serious? Do I not make myself?
No, your accent's not that bad. Actually, I can understand most of it. I mean, you got to remember, I deal with Canadians. I deal with Shannon Q in Nova Scotia. If I can understand her, I can understand anybody. Okay. So have you listened to her? Yeah. A boot.
See, that's the thing. The only thing that reminds me that she's Canadian is the boot thing.
Oh, I thought it was the 50 million times she says she's sorry every day.
True.
Except to
me.
My
gosh.
Yeah.
My goodness. People don't bump into each other on the street and pass and still say they're sorry to each other. I don't know why Canadians and English people have this fiercely apologetic thing.
Oh yeah, no, I don't get the social norms of other places. I really don't. I'm glad I never lived in England. I'd be lost. All I ever wanted from England was I want to try authentic Scottish eggs. That's it. And it's not even a Scottish thing. It's more of it's not even an English thing. It's more of a Scottish thing, right?
Well, I can't speak as to the the historical nature of the Scotch egg, as we call it. But perhaps I can, as a care package from one sort of.
I don't think it would last very long that way. I don't think it'd be fresh.
I don't know. I mean,
is it Scottish eggs or is it just Scots egg?
We call them Scotch eggs, but
Scotch
to be honest,
okay.
One of the things that sort of it smells just as bad on the day you get it as the day you should really throw it away.
Oh, don't tell me that. It looks delicious. Do they really smell bad? Do they really smell bad? Oh, they're Scotch eggs. Okay, they're telling me. What do I know? This is why I have subscribers. I don't need to know half this stuff. I have them for this. Yeah, really. I mean, they're like my pocket brains.
Concerned. You've got to be genuinely concerned of my accent. my goodness, must I don't know what to do. This is how I speak.
No, it's fine.
No, should I have a little person in the corner, sort of Americanize it for y'all?
Well, no, but if you got a whiteboard, you can write things down. That might be good. I got a blender going on. Hang on one sec.
Really? Oh my gosh. I was being
Somebody ordered a margarita. Yeah. Write it down. I'll figure it out. But anyways, welcome to live chat. We got Bullinator out there. We got Deathpool Wilson. We got Heat Shield. Insects are cool. Pax, Chemo, Jim, and another bunch of people that, I'll never figure out who you are anyway. So anyways, welcome to my channel here. Anyways.
Sorry, we were talking about delicacies for a good 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. 15 minutes of the stream and we haven't got to your channel yet. So tell them about yourself, why you want to be in the skeptic community, and what you want to do with your channel. Because we want to bring you back. I like the things that you had to say when you first got here. You're really into having conversations, which is my thing.
Well, I think you're all so cool, and I want to be part of the club.
You want to be one of the cool kids. Okay.
I do. I mean, I will say that this community is wonderful, considering we're all after the truth, and in a lot of areas, certainly online, that's not necessarily encouraged. So it's having an opinion that sort of strays from the main. And I suppose there are those with beliefs, skeptics, that are going to find us, harsh critics. But to me, there's nothing more important than truth. And whilst I think there's room for understanding people's beliefs and the emotions they have that are tied up in that, it shouldn't stop us from striving for it. So yeah, I think I just got hooked on this whole idea of, all these big philosophical ideas. And of course, philosophy is the big question. So I sort of got hooked in on that. And of course, I started to watch different people's content. And to me, I'm ashamed to say, YouTube had been the sort of place I went to for sort of DIY tips, things like that. And I had no idea that there was this educational aspect to it. And so, and of course, communities, whether you're a gamer, you're into movies, sewing, crafts, all these sort of different things, and YouTube was being, sort of used for that. And I found it fascinating. And of course, people are of different calibers and different belief systems where we're sort of, making videos regarding these really big questions. And whilst I never have been religious myself, of course, we're all surrounded in one way or another by belief systems, and it's just understanding it and breaking it down that just sort of interested me. It never occurred to me anybody would actually bloody well watch my channel. I just did it for a laugh. Really.
I like the way you put that, though. I really like the way you put it, that the goal is to get truth, right? and I think that the way we go about assessing truth, it takes a lot of people to help us formulate what we perceive to be the truth, because it's not always easy sometimes. There are analytical truths, which we know to be true by analytical distinction. There's truths where we know just by, we can say we know things like the sun's going to rise tomorrow. We're going to get into that problem with human induction. But we have some certain knowledge that we can say we know, right? But when it comes to truth, a lot of us are still in the dark of what is actually true. And I see it not just in the theist community, but I also see it in the atheist community as well. So I'm glad that you're not looking for like ideology. You're not looking for tribalism. You're looking just to get answers to questions and to talk about the actual questions, which is half the time the battle, just getting good discourse on it. By the way, the live chat told me they're not going to do an initiation for you. You're already in the club. So yay.
Special ring, or do we need a name somewhere?
You wouldn't have liked the hazing, trust me. No one likes the hazing.
No.
Tom Collins, by the way.
What it would be. Considering what theists think we do, drink blood and eat babies. Could you imagine what our hazing, they would think our hazing would be like?
We got to remember, I was Navy, so when you cross the equator, you go through a shellback ceremony and you do hazing, and it's not pretty. It's not. It's 4 hours of intense hell. Yes, I'm at the bar on Sunday. Yes, Shaniqua Johnson. Yes. I'm having a Tom Collins now, and it's top shelf, too. This is like good stuff, man. This is a real Tom Collins. Holy cow.
So the drunker you get,
I'll start making sense after a while. Yeah. You ever never watched that Drunk Philosophy? She's drinking.
I
Oh yeah,
have not.
somebody had to ask. She's drinking tea. Tea that rhymes with gin.
What can I say? This is what you do to me. This whole thing is a baptism of fire. So
Don't worry, I have that effect on a lot of women, and then they vomit just like they do when they drink. I have that effect on the women too. So
you.
this is the strongest Tom Collins I've ever had in my life. And by the way, yes, her husband knows we're having a bar hangout, so he just asked who's paying. So
yeah, it couldn't be more casual. I love it. I was wondering, oh God, is it going to be like the non sequitur show? Am I going to be, are we debating how much should I prep and all this? And you're saying, oh, don't worry, it's going to be casual. Really? Am I being right?
You want to be on the non sequitur show? We can get you on.
Oh Christ! Oh, I watched you guys at the showdown with the incel crowd, and I literally applauded. I was sort of doing this.
Oh God! Did you watch those shows?
So,
did you watch that?
I did. I watched the first one with Catfish Man, and I found myself wondering if I'd taken drugs because he couldn't form a cogent sentence. So he was very hard to follow, because I thought if somebody, I think I even commented, I thought if somebody can come along and make a coherent argument for the incel ideology, then a discussion about it. But he was the worst representative in that occasion to put forth. And of course then you had the secondary show with the other two guys, and they seemed a little bit more confident, a little bit more their arguments were a little bit more cohesive, impressively circular, to the point of it being, for somebody like yourself, I mean, it must have been mind-boggling. You could see right through what they were saying, and they were begging the question, and all these sort of.
I can tell you this: our producer's in the live chat, and he's already been banned from producing any more of those episodes. I'm not even kidding. Red's Rhetoric has told him, Dave, you are not to produce a single more non sequitur show episode with incels. And who am I, right? I'm just the host. I'm not the producer. So
no, but yeah, it's interesting because obviously, they are. I'm not going to sit here and say that these people shouldn't be listened to, but if only to obviously understand them, because as we've seen, when things reach their zenith with some of these individuals, they so it's carpet. But to me, they seemed a little bit, in a sense, and I don't want to make the connection. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying here, but
no, you don't speak proper English. I don't have a clue.
No. It's this sort of thing. I'm learning more and more how to choose my words. Not because I don't want to. I want to be clear on what I'm saying, because I'd hate for somebody. For example, what I'm about to say is that some theists, certainly the ones we seem to encounter in the apologetic side, certainly on Twitter, seem to have this very specific tunnel vision sort of way of thinking about things. And the incel crowd seems to have the same, only they are a touch more dangerous in terms of their thinking. You might have somebody who's a theist who's incredibly misogynistic and incredibly bigoted, but doesn't act on it. He just spouts it on Twitter, at the very worst, perhaps says it in his church. But incels are killing people. Not all of them, and I think a lot of them are incredibly lonely. So I did feel for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I do. I think there's deeply psychological issues, there's societal issues at play, but essentially, their emotional states should not make everybody else accountable for their hurt. And it could be very easy, and it of course it infuriates you, especially with the things I've made the mistake of going on one of their forums just to sort of
Oh, you
familiar.
did not. Did you really?
It's, oh my God, it's like
Really?
taking
I
a turn to
I
hell.
don't do that. I'm not even that brave.
Well, because I want to see, and I think if you ever have a grievance, of course, you're going to seek out people who agree with you. But the problem is it's sort of self-fulfilling. It feeds itself. I speak about this briefly in one of my earlier videos. When I had OCD, I used to visit OCD forums, and what a lot of us would do would be to check on our symptoms, because we felt if our symptoms were similar, then it must be, I'm glad I'm not the only one. So there was this sort of, this connecting with other people that gave you a sort of feeling, oh, I'm not so alone. So I understand that the nature of it, the social aspect. But what I realized is that I was treating the OCD thoughts rather than the condition. And so it wasn't getting to the, I was feeding it. And I didn't really sort of help and assistance and just a kinship with other people, and there is power to that. A lot of these incels probably don't even appear to have this incel nature to most of the people around them, so they have to go on these forums to sort of solidify their beliefs, and to have somebody, if you're looking for the end result of something, that's all you're going to see. You're going to look for if that's what you want to find out, that's what you're going to look for. And everything they do, certainly when they were speaking on the Non Sequitur show, informs them. Everything they do, everything they take in, everything they use in their arguments informs what they already believe. And what struck me, and not everybody thinks logically, in a sense. We are emotional creatures, and I'm learning the processes myself. But one of the things that I found quite humorous was that they were using, I believe, one of the dating apps. I'm sorry, I've been married for so long, I don't know what any of these things are. So,
Tinder.
Tinder, thank you.
Yeah. Or they could be using Grindr. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I've heard of them, but I don't frequent them myself, obviously. But they were using
married people should not know what dating apps are. I'm sorry, this Ashley Madison stuff doesn't work. Do you remember that back when, the Ashley Madison? Seriously,
yes,
exclusively to like married people, so they can go commit adultery. Like, that doesn't seem like a very viable type of business to me for some reason. But anyway,
it really doesn't. It opens yourself up to surely some legalities and issues in that sort of sense. But they were using Tinder as an example of women, the looks parallel and comparisons, and I thought, well, yes, it's visually based. So why are you arguing against something that's literally designed to be about looks? If it was just so circular.
I've never been on myself, so I have no idea. But I guess it's basically just a picture, and you swipe left or right. But I think that makes sense as far as whenever you have a collection of people, right, that have similar ideology, whether it's conspiratorial or whatever, if somebody feels like they've been dejected or rejected by society in some ways, which the incels were, they're looking for validation. They're looking for something that fills that need. They feel like they've been hurt or rejected by women or whatever sexual preference they have, and so they're gonna hone in on that, right? And I think they get taken advantage of by a lot of people, because there's one guy that actually changed his positions right after Kyle and Shannon had talked to him. He's been reaching out to me. He wants to come and do hangouts. I'm like, hey, yeah, cool. Come be part of the community. But the other ones, you can tell that's not what their goal was. They were really into the persecution porn. Let me tell you why all of the world's against me, right? Let me tell you why it's not me, it's you, kind of thing. And now, whenever somebody, you before you got married, and most of us have dated before, whenever somebody tells you it's not you, it's me, it's you. Yeah, it's definitely these people. They're not willing to take responsibility for the fact that they're just not good people. They're not good people in the incel community. This is why I didn't go to any of those boards. It was always Kyle checking those things out. I had no desire to. I couldn't stomach that crap. And you as a woman, it would make it 10,000 times worse. I don't know how any female could go on those boards and listen to the vitriol and the nonsense that just came out of those people. When I listened to those discussions, because I was in, I think one, but the Western ones were just basically Kyle and Shannon. They were just disgusting. I mean, these were not what I consider to be norm of what you would find in a general population. They were like 2 and 3 standard deviations away. So, yeah, I mean, I don't envy you having to go check those things out, but yeah, you're not going to be making videos about that now, are you?
Well,
I'm not saying
it because I thought, you know,
I don't even want to deal with those people any longer.
No, I think I only, I think I wasn't going to get into things that I perhaps considered more social justice and more.
Yeah, I know. This is sweeten up a little bit. Oh, sorry. I didn't. No.
I'm sort of gathering my thoughts about it.
That's something sweet. Okay, thanks.
Yeah,
drinks here, by the way. Come to Applebees. I'm down here in where's this? Menifee. Yeah, Menifee. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Go ahead. Sorry.
I love how you can go from talking about incels. It's like, yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I wasn't going to, but and probably one of the main reasons is because who needs that? You know, I'm going to get so much shit for it. I am. They'll come after me tomorrow. And the silly thing is that I'm not trying to assume about them, because I think every single one of them possibly has a story to tell. Whether or not they would be honest with themselves and truthful to me in terms of, you know, that nobody lives a life of complete virtue, you know, virtuous behavior where, my gosh, I've done everything I can to be a good person, and, you know, I've been treated so badly. There's very few people, I think, that can truly say that if they're honest with themselves. So it's that sort of sense of not having any agency and having any sort of taking any personal responsibility. Now, the reason that I sort of feel that I can't sort of identify with them is because I married. I was engaged quite young. I was 21, and so really I haven't dated.
So that was like last year for you, right?
I mean, we've been together how many years? So, oh gosh, that sounds terrible, doesn't it? 17 years this year.
That's a long time.
I deal with that side of things, and I haven't been rejected before or felt loneliness. I have, but I've also been in a loving, long relationship. So I can see from one side what they're longing for, but at the same time, they're very sort of, everything's one-sided, it's fiercely misogynistic. They don't seem to want happiness. If no, they don't. They were striving.
No. That's my point, though. They feed off the persecution, right? They want to be miserable. To them, they take misery and they try to use it some kind of positive emotion. And by the way, the people are complaining about my hair. Look, I'm going to get a trim a little bit. I'm not going to cut. I'm just getting a little and a little. I'll probably do that in the next couple of days. Yes, don't trip people.
No, it's glorious. Don't listen to them. It's glorious.
You know what? They don't even come to watch my show. They just care about my hair. That's all it is. You know?
I've had people subscribe to me because of my hair. The internet is bizarre, is it not?
well, you've got a lot more hair than I've got. You're a lot younger than I am. People want the.
Yeah, do I not have things today? I just think, you know, don't get me wrong. They did say, oh, you know, great videos, but what magnificent hair. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I make hair videos. You know,
let's have fun.
Yeah, so I make videos about people who can't get laid. That's great. Yeah.
No, I do applaud you all, because it's not easy. And I'm not saying that when I visited those forums, I didn't want to vomit all over myself, because I did. But it would be very easy for us to mock them and to think of them as a non-entity in this realm of life, but they obviously, you know, I think they're, yeah. And I think, well, do you know what really bothers me about it? Is like we were saying, you know, if they sought happiness as a thing, but it's the being owed something, this entitlement thing, and sex being their main goal. And I can sort of understand why they've chosen sex, because in essence, it's the more available option. It's well, you can literally pay for it, but to have somebody have affections that match yours, and to fall in love, and not just fall in love in the chemical sense and, you know, all the fresh new things, but to have that love last, and to have something that requires, you know, cultivation and understanding and growth. You know, they're not willing to do that. And
no, they're not. And it takes, look at things that are worthwhile take effort. You know, I put a lot of effort in my channels, right? I mean, it just didn't happen overnight. Non sequitur didn't just magically appear and we had a pretty successful show. It took cultivation. It took a good audience. It took good quality guests. It took you know, brilliant artwork by Kyle. There's a lot of things going into it, and relationships are no different, right? I mean, you've got to work at it. Now, people know that I happen to like a person in the community. It's not a big secret any longer, but they live very far away. Now, if I happen to go visit them, great. I might actually do that. I might actually take a vacation and go visit them for a couple of weeks, a week or two. Who knows, right? But that's an effort to be made. That is, I have to actually leave the house and go on a plane and travel for many hours. But you know, if that's something I want to do because I think it's worth it, I'm going to, because I think she's cool. But and no, John, it's not you. I'm not going to visit you, John. No offense, but John, are you there?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. You don't have the fundamental attributes that I'm looking for to make it worth 3,000-mile trip. Just leave it at that. Man. Leave it at that.
I accept that.
Yeah, it's cool. But anyways, how are you, John, this morning?
I'm pretty good. I got your notification, and the first thing I did when I got to the page, I saw some links there, and I just subbed to the Great Debate Community.
Oh, one of my other channels, or the actual GDC?
For this video, it had links underneath, and it said.
Oh yeah, because I have the Great Debate Community video channel as well, but it's kind of dead. I don't have the time to invest in that particular channel. Dave used to actually do videos on that channel, but then he got his own channel too. So I just leave it for reference any longer.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, Sunday's a busy day because I mean, think about how many shows are on Sunday. You've got the Atheist Experience, you've got Talk Heathens, you've got whatever one Lawrence does, Milwaukee Atheist. So I try not to broadcast on Sunday because it's just I'm fighting a huge battle in that case. So if I do it very early in the morning. I had written a blog yesterday. If you guys had seen, I have a new blog post out. Unfortunately, I didn't put it in the video description. My bad. But if you go to www.greatdebateCommunity.com, you can see my latest one. I also put it on my Facebook page, and I put it on Twitter, and it's dealing with my favorite subject, agnostic atheism, as a nonsensical logical thing. And so I actually broke it down, and I actually had Cyrus the Skeptic look at it. I had Dave McGinnis look at it. I had Chris Hansen look at it, and I also had Ozzy look at it. So hopefully between those four people, I think the logic's right. But if it's not, blame them. Okay, just blame them. I do anyway, so just don't hold me accountable. But go check that out and let me know what you think about that. I'm not going to talk about that particular blog in this hangout because this is all about Topic Thunder. Because she's been waiting like several weeks to do this. You don't even know how much of an effort this took on her behalf to make it happen.
I'm such
Where's Steve? I swear tomorrow. Oh, can we make it next week? This was 3 months ago.
That's yeah. We did. I can't help myself. I did feel very bad that we didn't get to do our original get together, but when this should make up for it. I'm hoping.
Yeah, that's great. No, and I don't know what you are worried about. Like I said, this is not the Non Sequitur show. This is my channel. We just kick it. We just talk. Now late at night.
I'm suffer no fools, and I appreciate that. So while I'm no fool, I'm a bit daft. So I was.
like I said, the initiation's already done, and people are going to protect the crap out of you, right? I mean, look at Shannon. You mess with Shannon, you're going to have 50 million people up on your ass. Trust me. I think you're going to be the same way. People mess with you, they're going to be like, "Oh no, that's not going to happen."
Horrible woman.
Yeah, exactly. No, hey, I'm chivalrous. I'm like that as well. I don't think that's like sexist or nothing. I believe that certain things are fine, and if I see a woman that that I know, well, I'll look at it this way. If I know they can handle themselves, that's fine, and I think most of them can. But just to pick on them because they're a woman, yeah, I'm going to step in every single time. Sorry, and I know I get more people that are women. They're going, don't do that. No, I'm sorry. It's my nature. I was raised that way. Blame my parents.
You know what? This is so bizarre. I think I have 4 brothers, and whilst they were real shits to me growing up, it never occurred to me they were like that because I was a girl. We just fought as siblings do.
You're English.
The whole thing that I'm less capable because I'm a woman. I love being a woman, and there are differences, and I love the differences. But I'm
sure there's differences. From what I remember, there's differences. But then again, nowadays, who knows? I'm being told otherwise.
It's such a. I think it's such a subjective thing. I've known men to do wicked things and to do wonderful things, and I've known women to do equally wicked things and equally wonderful things. I'm a humanist in every sense of the world. I'm an egalitarian, definitely, and I don't think it pays to pit one sex.
No, it's fine to be egalitarian, right? But I mean, like for example, you saw the Twitch person. She actually got kicked off Twitch for saying there was only 2 genders. Now, granted, I don't agree with that. I think gender is a spectrum, but that's nothing to be the platform for it. Like, I mean, I'm a firm believer there's only 2 biological sexes, and I get some crap for that. Not from any biologist, go figure. But there are 2 biological sexes in humans. I'm sorry that you cannot get around that. Okay, but gender is on a spectrum because gender is social, psychological. It's social constructs. It's expression, all over the place. But in biology, I'm sorry, unless you can tell me what the sexes are other than male and female for humans, I don't know what you mean by it. Klinefelter's is not a sex. Turner's is not a sex. There's a couple other abnormalities. You can have XX and still be a male, believe it or not. It's a French name. I can't remember it. People in the live chat might remember. But there's many different type of chromosomal abnormality. Chromosomal anomalies. How about that? Yeah. That gin's good stuff.
It's only
yes, I can't enunciate. But the fact remains is that is how it's thought of in biology, right? That the male is the donor and the woman's the receiver. But that doesn't have anything to do with gender expression. And so I think what happens is that people they want it to be such a case, and there's a social narrative to be had. I'm not interested in that. I don't care about the social narrative. I'm caring about facts. And this goes back to what we said originally. What is true, right? Truth to me is a higher standard, a higher thing in virtue ethics than what we consider to be, you know what? Yeah, we know there's only 2 sexes, but we're calling 4. Now, it doesn't make any sense. But anyways, I'm looking in the live chat here. Oh my God, they're going crazy. People complain about UK roundabout roads, but look at the cars stuck on that screen behind Steve. Oh yeah, I don't know what's going on back there.
Oh goodness.
Going back to what you were saying.
And by the way, somebody mentioned Klinefelter's and Turner. Klinefelter's syndrome and Turner syndrome, X46XX or XXY or X0, those are not sexes though. Those are just chromosomal abnormalities. There's a big difference there.
Hey, going back to what you guys were saying a minute ago.
Nobody's around me. I'm by myself here. They saw me coming a mile away and said, yeah, we're not sitting next to that guy. I have that effect at every bar. I get the whole bar to myself. It's great.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, John.
Oh, hey, so you were talking about stepping in and maybe white knighting. When it comes to
not necessarily white knighting. Wait,
no, I'm just using that. I'm just using that as the preface my statement.
Right. Like if yeah, okay.
But I was going to say it's
sorry.
Not a very important point, but I was just going to say I'm in my 50s, and because of the era I was brought up in, I'm one of those fellas that'll always hold a door for a woman. And sometimes I get some funny looks when I hold a door open for, a woman quite my junior.
Well, yeah, but they think I'm going to slam it back in their face. That's the problem. Yeah. It's like I'm not, no. It's like you go first, and I'm like, no, I got it. No, you go first. Really?
We can ask these. We can ask these wider questions, and I think any sort of discrimination against somebody for their sex rather than their gender is just stupid. It is. I'm not being very erudite tonight. I'm normally, a lot more. I think
it's your tea.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a cough coming, so I'm having trouble getting my words out.
Oh, don't get sick. No, don't.
I'm normally more
for a week. Yeah, no, don't get sick. Everybody's been through it. No, don't.
No, I think it's one of those things where people can argue the points online, and sometimes without context and things, you're going to jump on any time you experience and all these other different labels. Meanwhile, in the real world, men and women have to live with one another, and I don't want these divides to occur because, and this is speaking anecdotally, but I stated earlier, I have 4 brothers, and growing up, we didn't have the easiest life, and they weren't that great to me. They've since apologized, and they've turned into wonderful people. And I didn't have a relationship with my dad, and I've been treated badly by men as well as women in my life. But in terms of what, my familial relationships with men, if anybody, and I'm not saying that I'm the only one who's experienced this, but that you think that would inform a negative connotation towards menfolk. But it doesn't, because I realize that that they may have they in particular might have had a more brutish way of going about expressing themselves. But there was lots of things that informed their behavior, and informed the behavior that informed that. So it was never, to me, it was never divide. If you're a shitty person, you're a shitty person.
Well, what about just basic, just being nice?
It's
the topic. Let me ask you this, because somebody in the live chat said this, and see, I'm mortified when I hear things like this. They said, Paxabol said, I held the door open once, and she put her hands on her hips and glared at me. What woman would do that? Now, I'm really confused by what would possess a person to say anything other than, oh, thank you. I don't see a need for anything other than that. It's not degrading them. It's not treating them like a sub person. It's not dehumanizing them. It's not dehumanizing their value. It's showing a form of respect that a lot of us were ingrained with growing up. Okay, like my grandfather, he was very, very how do I say it? Old-fashioned and I don't mean that in a positive way. He came across as very brash, right? And this just was his style. Nowadays, that'd be harassment. What he used to do, right? I mean, it's just to him that was a cultural norm. I'm not trying to excuse it, but people are raised differently, and not everything is an insult. Not everything is a slight against somebody. And if somebody holds the door up for you, whether you're male or female, say thank you, for God's sake. Just be nice. Don't be a dick. I'm sorry.
It does seem bizarre. It does.
That's an important point, Steve. That's an important point too, is because now I brought up a holding door for women, but I'm sure you can agree. I've held the door open for men and had men hold the door open for me too. So it is kind of funny that some women would react. Yeah.
I do it for everybody pretty much. I'm like, I'll go first. Usually because
I hate to say it, but there's a golden rule.
Well, usually they want me to go first. They don't trust me or something. They're like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna back me and take my wallet? I don't know. To me, it's got a golden rule aspect where, treat others how you'd like to be treated. And sure, there's been times where, it was expected of a man to do this, of a man to do that. But it speaks more to your personal character if you, in terms of paying for a date or something like that. Even if I was to start now at the grand old age of 36 into the dating world, go into the
pit, I would go in with no preconceived notions, because not only have I not done it in a long time, but also, I wouldn't be expectant. Either way, I would go on what their sort of attitudes were and how they presented themselves and their actions, and take each thing, as an individual case. Saying that, I do find myself on Facebook sometimes coming across, you'll have somebody posting about a mansplaining thing or something like that.
Oh,
And while
that's so bad, trust me.
It's one of those odd things where unless you're actually there, because I think immediately it sort of throws up this thing in your mind, like, oh, what's he done now, sort of thing. And even for somebody like me who tries to see things from a further point of view, I'll say, oh gosh, what's this all about? It's more the comments. It'll go from that individual story, and then it'll go on, and women will give examples of the most disgusting behavior. And even if only 50% of what I've read is true, there is a problem. There is a problem, but it's an attitudinal problem. It's environmental. And I think, but you can't, people say, well, not all men, but you can't label, because it just causes a divide. Just meet on a personal level. And the internet, unfortunately, isn't the best place to do that, really. Although I've met some wonderful people online. So maybe there is a balance to it. I just don't think the human psyche was ready for Twitter in particular.
No, well, you've seen Steve on Twitter, right? They call him Twitter Steve. That's me.
Yes.
I'm not the same person I'm on Twitter, but that's only a character. I mean, I've never gotten upset on Twitter. People have this weird thing. They see capital letters, right? And they're like, that must be a person's actually yelling. No, it doesn't. Okay. No. I treat people the way they treat me. If they come after me hard, I'm going to go after them hard. But I'm not sitting there going, oh, typing my keyboard, just bamming it out, going, I'm going to get this person. No, I couldn't care less. Most of those people I deal with on Twitter are not worth my time. I'm literally, honest to God, just fucking with them. I'm just being entertained, but I'm upfront about this. I've even said many times, Twitter is my dumpster fire. This is it. I don't take it seriously. I have some actual friends on there, don't get me wrong, that I really like. There's like New Stoics on there. He's really cool. I have like the Wiz is really cool, and of course everybody in the Great Debate community. But most people that I've never even met before on Twitter that just kind of like run into me and I start being a royal ass. Yeah, I'm gonna be an ass to them. I don't care. But on Facebook, it's a little bit different. I'm not as much. But on YouTube, it's a totally different thing. I try not to be. I don't want to be that person on YouTube. I think we have better conversations to be had on YouTube with people that are actually capable of having better conversations. And so I will invite people in to have conversations with them. Most of them don't bother. But like in the comment section, I'm not going to have a long-winded conversation with most people on the comment section that are not capable of understanding the concepts. And I don't mean that disparaging. What I mean by that is they're unwilling to. They make blanket assertions. They just say, this is the way it is. Steve is wrong, whatever. And they can't explain why. And if they do, it's really, really strangely, right? And I just tell them, I just don't have the time or patience for it. And they take that as being smug or arrogant or whatever. There's not much I can do about it, because the people that I do have honest discourse with, like talking to you now, John, people in the live chat, we love it. We had Nicholas Suter on the other day. I don't know if you know him, but he's a philosopher. He's been on a few times. Great discussions. It was fun, right? I mean, we really enjoy talking to somebody of that level. I mean, he's got two bachelor's degrees, but he's extremely knowledgeable. Christy Santiago, she's got a new channel now. Have you listened to her? She does brilliant interviews. Yeah, she talks with Matt Clark, and they have a great topic on Leah. It's called Leah, something extraordinary, League of Extraordinary Humanists.
Atheist humans.
Yeah. I'm an admin in that group, but I don't even know what the hell it's called. Okay.
Atheist man human.
Yeah.
Going back to what you were saying, Tropic.
What's that, John?
No, what you were saying a few minutes ago, TT, about the label thing. It always makes me cringe, when people want to describe entire groups of people with a singular label, all men are like this or all women are that, or even when they try and do it for races. I mean, it's just human beings are much more complex than to, pigeonhole them, by categories like that. I mean, not all women are the same, not all men are the same. I mean, it's kind of makes me cringe when I hear that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you on that. And it's like any other label, right? You don't want to categorize people. And yet, like even in my blog, though, I was like condemning people, not because they're using specific terminology, it's because they're using it so confusingly and so it's bizarre how they're using terminology, which they're allowed to do, right? If you want to call yourself a square circle, knock yourself out. Doesn't mean I'm going to understand what the hell you mean by it, right? And so that's been my argument. By the way, John, do you know that I'm actually having a formal debate?
Yeah, March 3rd.
No, it's got moved to March 10th. But yeah.
March 10th?
Yeah, for somebody watching, I'm actually going to do my third debate. Well, technically, I guess my fourth. I don't know if you guys count my debate with John Perry from State of Clearly as an actual debate on if DNA was a code. Was it a debate? I really don't know. I'll leave it to you guys to decide. I think I won either way. But I only done 2 formal debates, one with Ronnie, kicked his ass, and one with Wayne Fillmore, who changed his position, so kicked his ass. So this one I'm really looking forward to, because when I do a debate, I go all out, and I've already worked on most of the outline. Part of which I'm talking about is my new blog post. And so I had asked somebody, I said, do you think I should wait to the debate to put this out, or should I just put it as a blog post and give people some feedback, give me some feedback on it? They're like, nah, put it out. It's not going to matter. And I was like, okay, so I'm really looking forward to that.
You bringing that up just gave me a great idea, man. How about one Friday night, you guys have a debate roulette, but whatever subject comes up, you take the side that you want to take, and then get somebody else, huh?
I don't know, man. And by the way, dude, hi Palm Jam in the live chat. Palm Jam, I haven't seen you in like 4 years, and yes, I have changed in 4 years. I'm definitely unrecognizable from when you knew me, trust me. But welcome, Palm Jam. Good to see you, man. But yeah, no, I don't like the spur of the moment fly debates, because like, do you guys remember back when it was Destiny and who was he having a debate with to voter registration? You guys remember?
No, I do not.
Yeah, I don't remember. But anyways, Kyle's like, hey, this is not going kind of, can you jump in a little bit? And I took a dissenting position from Destiny, and I jumped in, but of course I hadn't done research on it. I didn't have the statistics. I, after the fact, did and realized, yes, I still stand by my position, but I would have been more effective had I had that information during the discussion. And so those debate roulettes are very, very, very difficult to do. I'm not something I'm good at. I plan very methodically when I do these debates. I have an outline of what I want to do. I know the evidence I want to bring. I know the breakdown I want to go. So, by the way, he's going to get stopped, right?
Oh, well, yeah. I have to assume that he's going to get stomped, just because this topic is your jam,
That's why I'm willing to debate it. But
you talk about how hard that debate roulette was. Yeah. Last time you guys did it, it was me. It was either going to be me or Team Skeptic. Between the two of us, and the computer chose Team Skeptic. And then after I sat there and listened to him and Jim Majors debate the point, I was sitting there going, I am so glad the computer did not pick me, because you're right. That spur of the moment type debate is very difficult.
We got to get Topic Thunder in there and just throw her in on some discussion real quick.
I think your mic went out, Steve.
I'm sorry. No, I had to order another drink. I'm out and about. It's really nice. They're really cool here. I like it. But I'm having a margarita. Can I have a margarita? You guys mind? You guys don't care.
How many gins have you had?
No, you go ahead.
Oh, I had one Tom Collins with gin. I'm not muted.
No, maybe it must have been my end. I must have roboted on my end and just missed you guys.
How do you PayPal or drink to me? Oh, just PayPal's in the video description. I have PayPal, Cash Me, Patreon. Sweet. But you know what? Nothing to this hangout. I don't even want any super chats. This is all for topic. Save it for her channel. When she starts having videos, give her a super chat for me. Do it in my name.
For the purposes of call me Kenny.
You're breaking up on that. Are you on Wi-Fi?
I am. It was working quite well.
It was, but you're in England, so we don't know how well things. That's a third world country, right?
You know,
I mean, you're running water and stuff, right? Do you have indoor plumbing?
I was told it's a civilized affair.
Maybe if you can get closer to your router or something, could you?
I to be honest, I'm in my office and it is in the back of the house, and we have stone walls.
That's fine.
Yeah. So sorry. Are you sure it's not you? It's not the, you know.
No, yeah, it's just, I don't know. You're breaking up a little bit. That's okay. Oh, look at this. What kind is that? Blackberry margarita. How could you go wrong? I've never had a blackberry margarita. Oh my God! Look at this thing. Look at this, like royalty. Oh my God. That's freaking delicious. Wow, thank you. So I've never had a blackberry margarita before. Almost 50. I've never had a blackberry margarita. Have you had one before? No? Oh, they say you sound fine. So you're breaking up on my end. So I don't know. And her video's breaking up too. Maybe try exiting the hangout and come back in. How about that?
Sure. Okay.
And then John will keep me company while you're gone. No, it's not a black. No, not Black Mary. A blackberry margarita.
Yeah, I've heard of a Bloody Mary, but not a Black Mary.
It's really good, I gotta admit.
What made you go to Applebees today, Steve?
Well, first of all, there's not many bars where I'm at, so I usually go down to this little Mexican place. They don't have Wi-Fi, and so I had this appointment with Tropic Thunder this morning, and I was like, oh crap, how about I just go to a place that I think has Wi-Fi and have some drinks and just shoot the shit with her. And so I was like, Applebee's would be the closest to where I'm at. I've been here once before, but not to the bar. That's how. And I put on my Twitter, I said, hey, I want you guys to vote for me. Should I sleep in? Should I have a hangout? Or should I go have mimosas? Well, everybody voted for mimosas, but I came down here and I asked her, do you have mimosas? They're like, no, we don't have champagne. I'm like, oh. So I was so crushed. But this is a good substitute, though. I'm not going to lie. This is, like, fantastic.
I hope we didn't lose her.
Yeah, she'll get back in. Yeah, I'm chillaxing. Hey, Christy, are you having a drink? Christy Santiago, I'm having this for you, too. So, really good with the salt.
So was that the name? The name of her channel is Topic Thunder?
Topic Thunder's the name of her channel. She wants to learn the discussions. She wants to learn the topics that we discussed a lot when it comes to the various types of argumentations, right? She wants to learn how to defeat presuppositional argumentation, how to talk about Kalam, how to talk about all these things that kind of make their way into the community. And she has a really keen mind. So I told her, I was like, look, if you come back in the community, because she's been wanting to, I will spend as much time I need with you to if you have questions, to help you out. So she'll ask me questions on Twitter in a DM. And then, I'm like, okay, let me explain this to you. Because she has to have it broken down in very simplistic terms, which is fine. But I like doing that, I'm very fine with taking a very complex subject and then kind of break it down a little more simplistically. Like, again, I don't know if you read my blog today, but I kind of did that. I really did break it down in a way where I thought the average person could understand it from a logical perspective. So let me know how you guys think of that, by the way. I didn't put it in the video description, and I'm not going to right now. But go to my blog, www.greatdebateCommunity. There's a link to it. in the video description, but not the one I wrote. But find the one I just wrote called the logical
That we discussed
analysis.
a lot.
Yeah, go find that one. Tell me what you think. But anyways, welcome back, TT. We're gonna call you TT.
Hey, GT, I just subbed to your YouTube channel.
Can you hear us, TT?
Oh, wonderful.
No, you're still breaking
Yeah,
up. TT.
I'm still breaking up.
Man, this sucks.
Hey, TT,
There's no way
I hate to suggest this, but maybe you can get some more bandwidth if you turn your camera off and just allow your avatar to be up.
I'm working. I say, but oh gosh, let me see. You talk about yourselves, fellas.
Yeah, that I heard. We're talking about it. I can't understand anything you're saying because it's really breaking up.
Sorry.
And this is why we usually use. Yeah, I'm on Wi-Fi right now, obviously, but I usually use hardware. What is he saying? I didn't understand what he said. He'll figure it out. Anyways, what else was going on? For those who can still hear me,
I can hear you.
yeah, Christy says she likes extra dirty martinis with blue cheese stuffed olives. That sounds delicious, actually. Now I want one of those. I've never had blue cheese stuffed olives before. I didn't know that was even a thing.
Man, you're going right down through the menu. Gin, margarita, then a martini.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't intend to, but I guess the first drink I had rum. Second one had gin. This one has vodka. Right? That's right. Margarita vodka. Wait.
Margarita is well, you got the blackberry one, so it's probably
Yeah, yeah, because usually it's rum and margarita, isn't it?
Why do I keep thinking it's tequila?
Oh, tequila. Yeah, you're right. What the hell am I thinking? Yeah, but I never thought of putting up blue cheese and olives before.
Blue cheese? Really? That's what she said? Wow.
Yeah, just reading what she wrote. Like she wants a extra virgin margarita, or extra virgin martini with stuffed olives with blue cheese.
Oh, wow, that does sound interesting.
Yeah. Oh, Christy, you don't have to get me drunk to take advantage. Trust me. No, not even remotely so. I want to remember every detail of that.
You can't take advantage of the welling.
Yeah. No, Christy is. I've got a mad crush on Christy, even though she's married. But Christy Santiago is just amazing all around.
Hey, it looks like TT relocated.
TT, you're back. Maybe. Topic. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like she moved her computer to a different part of her house when the camera came up for a second.
Oh, I just said that's the same picture that she had before. George, have a beer, man. Yeah, pop a beer. It's Sunday. Like I said, I don't know what's going on today. I kind of sometimes watch the Atheist Experience, but other than that, I usually just take Sundays easy. But I guess lately Darth Dawkins has been calling into the Atheist Experience.
Oh, he called AXP or he called Talk Heathens?
No, he called in. No, he called in. He called Talk Heathens, and he actually called into the Atheist Experience too. I thought.
Was Matt on when he called?
I think so. I'm trying to remember.
I got to go look.
I'm not gonna call. Yeah, I'm not gonna call onto there. No. So he did call. Yeah, Darth has been banned. I guess Matt won't take his call. Right. Yeah. I'm sure Matt would take my call, but I'm not going to call him.
That would be interesting.
Look, I like Matt. Don't get me wrong. I really do. I don't know. I'm sorry that things went south. I just think that we have a fundamental different approach. I think that he has some epistemic issues, but he's a great guy, and he's done wonders for this community and advanced things. And I just wish he would have asked me about my actual positions before he went on 4 other channels and said I said things I don't believe. It was kind of harsh when it's like, no, man, I don't actually think that way. So I got
my problem is nothing against atheist experience. I watched that for maybe a year, and I feel like I've seen every scenario that could be talked about in that format. So I just got tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much new. Oh, what am I looking at here? Topic. I hope you're not showing anything we shouldn't see here. But
I'm not going to there now. So he did call. Yeah, Darth has been banned. I guess.
Darth was banned.
Call, right.
And I don't blame them. I mean, he has.
Call, but I'm not.
Oh wait, I heard something.
I like that. No, I really do. Sorry that.
You have to mute the video topic.
I think we have a fundamental different approach. I think that he has some epistemic issues.
Topic. Mute the video topic.
Yeah.
Yes, there you go. Now can you hear us? Oh, you're back.
I can. I am. Yeah, it's all a bit of a issue. Sorry about that.
Did you move to a different area in your house?
I was literally running around trying to find the best signal. How ridiculous. And I realized I went downstairs, my husband's actually playing on his console, and so that's what sort of split the Wi-Fi power. I have no idea what I'm talking about in terms of Wi-Fi. I'm not tech-minded. But yes, you're actually seeing the full glory of my shooting area. Normally you only see the side with my desk and my lovely pictures, and now there's my laundry in the back there. So yay, Hollywood.
Are you going to make? Is that where you're going to be making videos from?
Well, yes, but I'll just move it so you can see. Sort of, you've been getting that sort of angle before, and now you get to see the full horrors of my storage area. But I'll retrofit it a bit more. I'll make it a little bit more studio-esque, I think.
Yeah.
Now that
you know what? Quality is better than ambiance. So.
I disagree.
Well, yeah, you're British.
Let me
ask you a professional opinion here, as a professional British person. Now, I have a friend who lives in Manchester. Okay, she's not involved in the Great Debate community, but I called her a Brit. Now she said to me, "Steve, I'm English, not British." To which I responded, "All English people are British, but not all British people are English." Is that correct?
Are you ever capable of having?
I will argue with anybody, damn it. It's true, though.
Oh, you're going to leave me. No, I understand.
I know I'm right on this. You just have to agree with me.
No, given that we are a small country, you'd be surprised to learn that the English, the Scots, the Welsh, and the Irish, we do have, we do have this nationalist sort of, I suppose you could describe it as a nationalist sort of thinking, where we think of ourselves as Great Britain when we do well at the Olympics and things like that. But we do have our, sort of our own identities. So it depends who you ask. It's completely subjective, I think.
I totally agree with you. By the way, I have a weird thing about the Welsh accent. It is the most harshest accent ever on the ear. But a woman who speaks Welsh, I find it very, very attractive. I don't know why. It's a weird phenomenon. I shouldn't.
You have a hard time understanding me.
The accent they have is just, it's a bizarre, twisted. It's like the North Carolina accent of Americans. It's just weird. Sorry, Kyle, if you're listening.
He's Alabaman.
No,
so isn't one of them in Great Britain, like, that's not part of Great Britain, or it's its own country? Ireland or
the Scottish, the English
Sorry,
is separate.
Scotland. Go ahead, Steve. Answer the question, even though you're not.
Go ahead. You're the expert. I'll defer to you. Go ahead.
It's well, gosh, I'd have my own countrymen tell me I'm wrong. Hence the subjectivity. But it in terms of sort of what comes under the banner, it's Northern Ireland that's technically part of the United Kingdom. So Southern Ireland isn't sort of under the same banner. So that's the sort of difference, really, parliamentary wise and decisions made, that sort of thing, which is obviously what's causing all the issues with Brexit in particular in Ireland, because obviously there is that divide there, and they're heavily reliant, Southern Ireland quite heavily reliant on what happens with Brexit. It will affect them obviously quite greatly. So yeah, but you wouldn't think so. We have so many, sort of things, but we do. We, there's we have different cuisines, we have different customs a lot of the time. But
the next question I'm going to ask, because again, nobody understands Brexit, nobody. But the other question I have to ask:
Parliament knows what's going on now. Don't even go there. Don't think that there's one person that they're probably the only people. What can really say wrong or not is economists. I think nobody else really were talking about election, and it's all gone to pot.
I don't get it. So let me ask you a question. Ready? Is this true or false?
Go.
It isn't true that they teach all you how to go like this, just in case you become royalty. Is that true?
No, I don't think so.
I don't believe you.
No.
I don't. Go watch. I'll prove it to everybody watching. Go like this. Go like that.
Hang on, I can't. For some reason, I've lost your image, so I can't copy you.
Actually, Steve segued to the question I want to ask.
Sure.
What is your opinion of the royal class?
Wait first. Wait 1 sec. I promise. Wave like the Queen. No. Like the Queen.
That sort of thing. No, don't be daft.
Do it. Come on. See, practice that shit. Don't tell me that's kind of
her do it.
I proved my case.
Oh.
Go ahead, John.
TT is
argument. No. I shan't have this. You're basing this on this. No.
Right.
Far too much gin to be arguing like this.
No, that's not gin.
Oh shit! Yes, I said it was.
You're drinking tea. Go ahead, John.
No, I just wondered what your opinion is of the royal class, and if the royal class is sacrosanct to all Great Britons.
You could literally go out into the street right now, ask 5 different people, and they would give you 5 different answers to that question. I think it's a great thing in terms of tradition. I would love to keep them where they are, but they should be, in my mind, self-sustaining in a financial aspect, because we do have, there's a lot of times in terms of security and things like that, when a big event, a royal event happens, that the public and our taxes do bear a brunt, usually only a percentage, but it's still coming out of our taxes. When you consider they're quite a wealthy family, I think their art collection is sort of worth over $1 billion or something like that, so it's, yeah, I think that was from a documentary I saw years ago. They've got some incredible artwork just in their art. So you can imagine in terms of property and things like that in their holdings, and, what they're worth. So in that sort of sense, I can see why, because people say, they're leeches, and we don't need them, sort of thing. But they do bring a heck of a lot of tourism in. And of course, the princes, or they've got different titles now, but they do a lot of charity work and things like that, and they are a symbol, and I think that the younger generations certainly make a concerted effort to appeal to the everyman, in a sense. William and Harry in particular, excuse me, spoke recently about mental health. They are involved in a heck of a lot of charities, but in particular had a sort of very casual sort of sit down and spoke about it like 2 people would, 2 friends. But of course, to see them speaking so casually and in an informal environment, it was wonderful. It was, you saw them as people, you saw them as brothers, you saw them as William at the time as a father, and Kate was there as well, and her having been a convert in this sort of sense.
I don't understand the royalty thing.
Sorry?
I don't understand the royalty thing. I really don't. I mean, we okay, look, in America, we have our own type of royalty. It's not a monarchy royalty. The royalty in America is like a movie star, right? They get treated like literally like they're no different than somebody who actually is born of a blue blood. But we don't know I don't know what the concept is why this person has a special position in society merely because of lineage. Okay, they're not like they're not like a pure breed dog or something where you have a pedigree. Okay, where you have I'm wanting this particular trait for a dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot for the life of me give somebody a special credence in society or special position merely because look, they're royalty. I really don't care. Does it make me a bad person?
No, not at all.
American.
But could you not say the same about the presidency? Somebody's voted in, either, or perhaps by a mixture of.
Wait. Do you know who we have as president?
No. Just hear me out.
Okay. Have you seen our president? Okay,
God, please don't use that. Perhaps I should have said use a former example, but people are always going to like or dislike people. I mean, most people I think dislike Trump, but putting words in my mouth. No, but I think there's somebody who obviously is bolstered by their party and is chosen to be the person that they throw their weight behind, and they have policies, they have a charisma, they have a personality, and you can argue a lot of the time. Sometimes it's things like that, their personality and these sort of personable things that make people vote for them. People don't always vote for policies; they vote sometimes for the person. But that person is in power for but 4 years, and is protected by obviously the Secret Service and is held to this standard that he must be protected above all others. Of course, there's the vice president just in case the worst should happen, but he is of, like you said, he may be somebody come from a wealthy family, because a lot of the time you do have to tend to have a lot of money to be in politics. That sort of thing. I'm sort of talking about it's not a class system, but you see what I mean. You usually have to have a bit of class.
Trump was in a financial caste system. I mean, literally going into it. Sure, so there's too much difference there. Yeah.
No. So exactly. So you do have these, but essentially, in terms of the presidency, and let's hope is only in power for 4 years, you still have an entire governmental department, the Secret Service, literally existing. I don't think this is how they started, but existing to protect that person. Now, there is nothing inherently special about the president. He essentially is the figurehead for the party.
Oh,
so while
I disagree. There's something very special about our president. Trust me, very, very special.
I will throw into that one.
I think that's an equivocation, because I think you mean special in a whole different way.
Fair enough. We got to.
Thank you.
Yeah. Why does everyone have 26 light? We need. Come on. Can I get? Look, we got Tropic. You know how hard it was to get Topic Thunder on here. Give her a like, for God's sake. Share the video. We got to get her to 1,000 subs like that.
Oh my gosh. No, because then everybody will expect me to know what the hell I'm talking about.
You really don't. No, see, don't. Look at. You think Shannon Q knew what the hell she was talking about when she came into the community? Do you think Christy Santiago knew what the hell? But most people, they don't know. We don't know what the hell we're doing half the time. Okay, we learn as we go. That's half the fun. Okay.
Well, it sounds like
bar for yourself so freaking high. You don't need it, right? We'll get you 1,000 subs. Trust me.
Yeah, I think it sounds like I'm trying to be, it's false humility, but it's not. I just understand that I'm coming into this fairly late in life in terms of, a lot of these things.
It's all what you want to get out of it. Look at it. It's all what you want to get out of it.
Speaking of religion in the way I do speak of it, I don't have a history of it being, my life. So, I did feel like to talk about this, but it's only to let people know, because let's face it, people can sort of make grand assumptions on people. But at least if I put across that, these are just things I want to talk about. They're big questions. I may find something humorous, and you may find that, I've had more dislikes on my antinatalism video than I've had on any of my videos. And I think it was because of the nature of how reacted to this particular story. I don't know if you've seen it, but a gentleman.
I have. You've got some pretty emotional videos, honestly.
Emotional?
You go into some stuff, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, yes.
You have a leg up going in, because as Steve brought up earlier, there's going to be a certain percentage of your viewers that aren't going to care what the words are coming out of your mouth because you have that British accent. That kind of lends credence to just about anything. You know?
Right, exactly. No, I wish I was British. Why did I learn philosophy if I could just say something in some kind of British accent and sound like I know what the hell I'm doing?
Exactly.
You know?
I think Alex gets that a lot. Alex O'Connor, he did a talk at what was it? Logical LA, and they said, doesn't it just legitimize everything he's saying because of his accent? And I think as funny as that, he probably found that. I think he'd be mortified. He wants to, you know, he can see he works hard to try and make decent arguments and to try and understand everybody's point of view.
Wait, who? Who are you talking about?
Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, sorry, Alex O'Connor, Cosmic Skeptic.
Oh, you just like Alex O'Connor because he looks like a pretty boy. Please.
I do. I think he's adorable, but no,
what is every girl I know loves Alex O'Connor. Now I gotta admit, I happen to like Alex too. Okay, so not in that way, but Alex is a smart dude, and I like Alex mostly because Alex will stop and he'll ponder an argument. Absolutely. Alex has never been dismissive of me. I've emailed him many times. We've corresponded. We've talked. Alex and I have talked quite a few times. He's not dismissive of me. Now, we may not see eye to eye, but he knows his stuff, right? We just have a different philosophical viewpoint. That's fine. People can have different philosophies. He's not ignorant, right? He's extremely intelligent. That's a lot different far cry than the people that I run into that don't even want to bother to go read a paper and then discuss philosophy with me. That bothers me.
Yeah.
See the difference? Because, I mean, where am I going to go with that person? I mean, Alex and I can have a great conversation, even though we disagree, but I'm not going to be able to converse with somebody who just says, oh, Steve, you know, you're just wrong. I actually had somebody, TT, literally just the other day. Cyrus made a video on Wednesday, and his video was quite good. Now, I would have changed a few things, but nothing substantial, but minor stuff, right? But he did a really good, valiant effort. Cyrus makes good videos. He's a good friend of mine. Bionic Dance made a counter video. And her main, I mean, she was all over the place. It was one of the, she does not know philosophy with a damn. But one of the primary things she said was that she was upset that I ask direct questions. That I ask things are generally going to be yes or no, which, by the way, for a closed question, there are two answers, yes or no. Now, granted, there's an indefinite amount of indirect questions. Those are fine. There's a difference between an answer and a response. I'm fine with a response if there's a reason for a response. But if you're just trying to avoid the question and avoiding direct answers, right, which only be yes or no most of the time, then you can go qualify. That is a dishonest agent, I call them, okay, or dishonest interlocutor. The reason I ask very direct questions, and the reason why I'm very much the way I am in a dialectic or when I'm having an interlocutory situation with somebody of that caliber, is that I know that their positions are epistemically flawed. I know that they're issues. I'm well ahead of their game. And so I know where I want to take them, and many times they'll eventually get there. Jim Majors, you know, good friend of mine, CEO of Atheist Republic, he had issues when he first got to the community. He's worked through them. He's come a long way, but he was willing to have a conversation, right? I would never insult him. I think he's one of the greatest guys I've ever met. But just because he didn't understand the topic doesn't mean that it's just going to be insulting. But somebody like Bionic Dance, she does not want to be an honest agent. She just asserts her things in the case. Doesn't matter who if you disagree with her, you're wrong. Doesn't matter. If you can prove the logic, it doesn't matter. Logic, what's logic? And so when it comes to these discussions, I like to have very, very direct questions. But that was her big complaint. It's just that she called me out personally, so I'm responding, that Steve is just not an honest person because he happens to ask direct questions. Do you see the futility in that? Do you see the problem I have with that being the atheist community stance? If that's what the direction they want to go, that you can't even answer a direct question, because I tell you what, you ask me a question, I will go out of my way to be as yes or no as I could possibly get, but then I'll add a qualifier if I think it's necessary. but I'll always try to be direct in my answers. Anybody who says that Steve avoids or dodges questions has never asked me one in any kind of earnest way. That's my little rant. Sorry, TT.
Well, hey, you know what? I'll tell you what, something funny to go right along with that. I've been trading messages with this person who, disagrees with the whole agnostic thing. And he claimed here in the latest message to me that if you include agnosticism in it and don't have that under the umbrella of atheism, that it doesn't allow for nuance.
Oh, and well, okay. First of all, and by the way, Dr. Rhodes. Wait, well, Dr. Rhodes just told me to get a haircut. Dr. Rhodes, have you not seen your head of hair?
Is that the guy that was on Kenny? You talking about Kenny?
Kenny, yeah.
The other night?
Kenny's hair is longer than mine. And by the way, I'm envious. He's got great hair. It's fabulous hair.
But look at this response from this person, and I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. It doesn't allow for nuance. What are you talking about? If you're going to put all this different terminology under the same umbrella, then that's not allowing for nuance. And then here's the funny part, though. He said, you really need to go and watch Bionic Dance's video on this. I burst out.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go back to TT because she likes being the center of attention. There's a video. It was 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. It was on the NCG Studios with Dr. Jones. It was called A Cult of Personality. And it was atheist, talk about atheism. And her in that hangout was one of the most deplorable, despicable, ridiculous forms of argumentation I've ever heard in my life. She actually, and I'm not even, and again, I really hate being pejorative to people in the community, but she actually went out of her way to call me out. So I feel like I feel like I can respond a little bit. She told 2 people that have PhDs that are linguists, PhDs in linguists, right, in English, in literally the understanding of language, that they didn't know how words work. And they didn't understand words like equivocation. That's like, okay, next week I'm going to be talking to Lawrence Krauss, right? And I tell him, hey, Lawrence, you don't know jack shit about physics. Really? What audacity do you have to tell 2 people that are linguists, one has a PhD, but the other one didn't, but they're both linguists, that they don't understand how words work? You know, it just boggles my mind, the audacity they have, because her response to Suris clearly showed she does not understand these topics. She just simply does. It's like somebody grasping at, doesn't even understand algebra, trying to talk about calculus. It's not going to happen. And then she thinks you're arrogant if you don't want to bother with her, if you try to demean her. I've had 6 years of her nonsense. Okay, enough. I can't do it.
I feel quite passionately about this.
Well, again, it's not about not knowing something. It's about having the arrogance that you're putting forth a narrative that you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah. I think, yeah, like you said, it is a nuance thing, where, oh gosh, I think that's why I seem to start my videos now with some form of disclaimer, because I'm noticing it as I'm getting used. It's one thing having conversations in real life and holding an opinion and having a logical argument to hold that by belief. Mm-hmm. But sorry, I'm losing my voice. I don't know what's going on.
Wait, what's the disclaimer?
Yeah, more gin. More gin is required at the moment.
Oh, your tea. Yeah, your tea.
It's probably. Let's not pretend.
It's colored water. Okay, that's all it is.
It's Sunday. Oh, no, the day of rest. But you know, it's quite another to form an argument, express it online to literally the myriad of all myriads. You know, it's you're going to get people who obviously strenuously disagree. Their disagreements could have merit. Others are just nonsensical. It might be something about the way you look or something like that. Obviously, depending on that you express yourself in. But to me, the reason I do that is because I have an opinion on something. There is no reason why in a year from now I wouldn't make a video on the same topic and have completely changed my mind. Because anything more boring and sorted and cognitively deadening than the idea of not being able to learn and change one's mind. Because I'd hate to be on my deathbed and say, my last words are, I know everything, you know? That's the beauty of learning, isn't it? Just keep growing, and you can have a strong opinion. I'm not saying don't have strong opinions, but just open your mind. People said to me, I had a couple of comments on my first few atheism videos, religion guys. I didn't know who they were at the time, so I attempted to converse with them, but they said, you know, the title was I'm an atheist, why you won't change my mind. And the actual title was a bit of a funny play on Stephen Crowder's There Are Only Two Genders Change My Mind videos. I thought I was being funny, and I laid out some reasons why, you know, I was an atheist. And because I'd used those particular words, why you won't change my mind, they this particular person said, so you're closed-minded. I found this intriguing, coming from somebody who's obviously a theist, and who, from what I've seen just in my examples online of interaction as well as observation, that they do seem to have a tunnel vision. So I found it quite funny that I was being accused of a similar thing. I hold my hands up and say, if you have evidence for something that is strong enough, of course I am. I'm just saying that in my 36 years on this planet, I've yet to come across any information that is concrete and it has substance to it. I just haven't. Perhaps I've been looking in the wrong areas, you know? It's just, I just, subjectively, I haven't. If you have, fantastic.
No, I don't disagree with you. By the way, what's your have you changed the name of your channel? Because I can't find it.
No, it's there. I put in Topic Thunder in the search engine, but it's a ways down, Steve, because all the stuff about Tropic Thunder comes up.
Yes.
Tropic.
The channel's called Topic Thunder, so go find that.
Yeah, and then look and see, if you look and see what her avatar is that pops up when her camera flickers out.
Yeah.
That's how I found it. You had to scroll down quite a ways, and then I saw her icon or her avatar and knew I had the right place.
Yeah. Sorry, it's incredibly hard to find. My apologies.
Yeah, no, well, you're not link type. For example, if you search me, I mean, granted, I'm on my own Google, but anybody who searches me, they're going to find me really quickly, right? Because I have thousands of videos. So it has a scale in the SEO, right? So, I mean, you got to remember, it ranks things by not just YouTube, but I'm also on Stitcher. I'm also on FM radio. I'm on, what is it called? There's a whole bunch of services we do our podcast on. So, but anyways, I like what you had to say about that, about changing your positions, right? Open-mindedness, because that is what's called virtue epistemology. The ability
tell her what the opening topic of the hangout was the other night. It ties right to what she was saying about.
Yeah. Well, the other night I had a hangout on what would change your position on something like the ontological question of the nature of a deity, right? What would make you believe there's a God? Which is a very fair question, because if you're going to ask a theist what would make you not believe, then the same question to be equal is what would make an atheist believe, right? Because I have a lot of people that say, well, nothing would make me believe. Then I really don't think you're an honest interlocutor, right? If you're going to say that nothing's going to change your mind, you're closed-minded, which is a vice in virtue epistemology. You don't want to be closed-minded. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to run out and change everything you believe, but if given enough evidence, I'm willing to reconsider anything for the most part, right? Some things I don't think I could, like my existence, but for the most part, you proved to me mathematically using real numbers that 1 + 1 = 3. I'm going to take a look at it, right? Not going to hold my breath on it, but people need to be able to reevaluate things, revisit. And so I like what you had to say about changing your position. And there's an old adage, and I don't remember who said it, but they basically said if you don't change your position on something at least once a year, you're not very skeptical. And the reason what they meant by that was that a true skeptic will reevaluate their position. I've changed my position on a few things, right? But only after given enough evaluative evidence to do so. I'm fine with that. People think Steve won't change his mind on like the agnostic thing. Well, sure, you give me a good argument, but John, let's be realistic here. have some real dialogue here. Have you ever seen a single person come in and present me with I'm not even going to say a good argument. How about just not a shitty argument for a change?
Yeah. Anything I've seen, I mean, and of course, maybe I'm not an expert on a lot of different things, but, and I don't want to come off like some kind of sycophant, Steve McRae sycophant, but no, I really haven't seen anybody. And the thing is that in the few instances where people have been able to challenge something you said, you're the type of person that admits it. You know what? I was wrong, or change your position. But I really haven't seen anybody come in and destroy, any argument that you've had. No.
Well, and it's like so many misconceptions. Yeah, I'll give people a link here in a second. For example, people will go to like Nate Brody's video. I'll see that being bantered around on Twitter, and I'm like, do you guys realize that's a parody video? I mean, he basically lampooned me. He lampooned Ozzy. He lampooned Bert Pohl. He never could even touch their actual arguments, right? Because none of us, not a single one of us, argue this is the only definition you need to use. No, it's never been an argument we make. And so I've never had anybody counter argue with an actual argument dealing with the actual argumentation that I have. Never. It's like the closest one maybe was genetically modified skeptic, but only because he can articulate his position very well, and I cannot really fault him for his reasoning. So it's not like it's a right or wrong situation, or who's right, who's wrong. I understand his reasoning. That's half the battle. I'm fine with that, right? Because he can articulate it really well. Does it make sense, TT?
I do. I think obviously you are one of these people that are capable of cutting through the BS in a sense. And it's not to say that everybody else can't make logical arguments, because I wouldn't be attracted to this community if I didn't think you all had a thirst for the truth. Of course, this has come, and I've noticed it, especially with this whole agnosticism and definitions, and it's very important. Definitions in language and in terms of definitely terminology is very important. But you can't always account for people's biases and people's strong feelings about something, and so you're almost like the ultimate logical tool in that you suffer no fools. And again, I don't want to say that people are foolish if they don't think like you, but you just cut straight to it. And I think that's what's so great about this community. You do have the range of people that will react, I don't want to say emotionally, but like Mr. Atheist, he will take on these topics that affect people on a personal level and emotional level, and speak about them in terms of him having had a former religious upbringing and so on. So he's got that insight, and then he explains in a humanist sort of sense, in a moral sense, what he thinks is wrong with a particular argument, but he's speaking in a sense on a personal and emotional level. But he's still right.
I wanted to go. Like I mean, I had a similar upbringing as him, at least as far as I was a Mormon. And I'm not faulting Jimmy in any way, shape, or form. I mean, he's got a huge channel. His numbers jumped up like that, and God bless him. I mean, he puts a lot of effort in his channel. No disparagement or bad things to say about that. We disagree vehemently on this particular issue because he has no argument for it. All he does is parrot what Matt Dillahunty says or Aaron Ross says, because that's the narrative put out by that type of atheist. Okay, fair enough. But if you're going to have a dialogue with me, I'm sorry, you're really going to have to know a little bit more about the topic, because I don't have the wherewithal to explain to people if they don't want to go learn themselves. And the people that are following me, sure, I don't have the crowd that he has, clearly, but I got to tell you, the people I have, they know the topic pretty well. At least at this point, they're smart. I mean, dozens of PhDs, and it's not bragging, but I like the fact that intelligent people like to listen to this channel and the Non Sequitur Show. They find good dialogue to be had there. Even if I'm not on it, I was listening to Godless Engineer and Fight the Flat Earth yesterday, right? They did a great job. You know, I really enjoyed the conversation, and I didn't have to be a part of it. So,
Look,
I mean,
here's the thing with these people that are coming at you with this is what they don't realize is it's two different arenas, okay? Because you said yourself, they're entitled to have their definition of that terminology, okay, and however they want to identify themselves. But when they're going to come and discuss this issue with how you're framing it, then they have to be knowledgeable of the arena that you're speaking from. You're talking more philosophically. You're talking more philosophically, and they're talking more colloquial, more personal.
Let me give you an example, John. I think you're spot on. Let me tell you why. If I'm to be talking to a bunch of creationists, right, I understand their lingo, right? I know they don't have any kind of defined thing for kind, and I know what they mean by theory, but I know their lingo. Now, if they want to come into my topic of discourse and they want to have a hangout with me, they're going to have to understand what actual biology entails, right? I'm not going to be using their terminology. I'm not going to be saying, hey, let's talk about a kind. No, I'm going to be talking about speciation. I'm going to talk about various types, allopatric, parapatric, sympatric. We're going to go into some detail on it, not just because I have an interest in that, but that's what biology entails, right? You don't have an interlocutor who's coming in to tell you that biology is wrong, that doesn't know what biology actually talks about. What good is that? That's like a flat earther coming in and say, hey, John, special relativity doesn't work. Okay, tell me about special relativity. And they don't know shit about it, right? So what's the difference between that? Why have a different standard for philosophy? I don't get it. I really don't. Explain it to me.
I can't stand that when not only do they not know about the biology, but then they want to combine two topics, because to a person, when a theist argues evolution, inevitably abiogenesis is going to come up, or as they often say, spontaneous generation. Conflating two completely different things. Evolution does not include anything about the origin of life. It's about how life, progressed, how life came about. I mean, it just kills me that they don't want to know the topic, but they want to argue it.
Did I lose you, John? John?
Oh, I was rattling off for a couple minutes there. I don't know whether it went through.
If they want to come in and talk to me about, by the way, I'm not a biologist, right? So, I mean, I only have a college level education when it comes to biology, but enough, decent, I guess. And if they want to come and talk about biology and they want us to talk about abiogenesis, two completely different topics, right? Biochemistry is way different than biology when it comes to that, right? And so they conflate the two. I don't know squat about abiogenesis. I've read about RNA world hypothesis, so I get the general gist of it, but I'm not competent enough to have an actual conversation with somebody on abiogenesis. I'm just not comfortable, right? I'm inept at that, I guess you could say. I'm cool with that. But biology, yeah, I mean, general biology, evolution, yeah, I have a decent understanding. But like you said, John, they don't understand the difference between abiogenesis, spontaneous generation, and evolution. Completely three different topics.
Right? Well, the other thing is what people don't realize is, all right, I'll grant you. Guess what? You just proved evolution's false. How does that get you to God?
Well, and I do agree with you there. Don't get me wrong, but I got to tell you, if they did knock down that would be a huge notch in their belt, would it not?
Well, yeah, especially amongst themselves.
And it would convince a lot of people. It wouldn't convince me, but it would convince a lot of people. Let's be realistic here. Now, I understand that'd be a fallacy to say, look, you just proved that. That means this is true. Of course, that's not the case. But we are humans, and most of us go, well, shit, this was a confirmed model. How the hell did this happen? It would make you second guess. I'm sorry. Anybody says otherwise, I don't believe them. It would make you second guess. Now, would you somehow say, well, yeah, it's God? Maybe not. But you will second guess yourself if they disproved evolution, because it's such a fundamental fact of reality, Well,
I mean, and let's be honest with one another. That was the experiment of all thought experiments, because evolution is not going to be disproven. I'm sorry.
No, you have a better chance of disproving special relativity or general. But anyways, TT, I'm sorry we haven't gotten back to you. We got
conversation.
By the way, TT, the last time you said something, I heard you talked about something about Steve for a few minutes, and the biggest thing I took away from that is you called him a tool.
Wait, what?
Because you said because she stated the phrase that you're a logical tool or a tool of logic, and all I heard was tool.
Yeah, no, actually, you know what's funny is I don't do much with formal logic. That's what's funny. I can read a formal logical proof, like Stephen Hoyt. The other day, I and Ozzy were on The Place. They know logic, right? And now I can read a proof that Stephen Hoyt has done and understand it. I can't write it. It's kind of like Spanish. I can read it, but I can't speak it. There's a difference there.
I think what John was saying earlier about nuance is very important. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a video about nuance, because it's been something I've been noticing just as a person online for several years, and now as a creator, I see even in something visual like YouTube, where I put across my thoughts. I'm me, I'm not playing a part. I am me. I have my script so that I don't go off on a tangent sort of thing, but they are my words. And I try to put across a clear argument, hopefully logical, but as I'm learning more about, the nature of, premises leading to conclusions and things like that, they're not just thoughts gathered together, that I'm trying to make, more clarified arguments. But it's the nature of how people can seem to not only take a different aspect to what you were saying than you intended, but also run with it to the point where they feel like you have not only spoken to them, but attacked something within them that wasn't even in my sphere, of wanting to do. And it's very interesting, because you think, wow, either there's something to it and I didn't think about it like that, or what are they on about? But the thing with nuance is that, what do they call it? Audience meaning and things like that. There's the idea that they need to, if they don't know exactly what you're talking about, they need to think of the most obvious answer, giving the context. But that doesn't seem to be happening, and there's probably a lot to do with the fact that it's in text form in terms of YouTube and Twitter comments and things.
It's not, text is a lot different than voice.
Exactly. There's no social cues. There's no body language and things like that. But also,
I prefer the interaction like this than Twitter. Trust me.
Yeah, exactly. You can sort of see, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm articulating my points well. I'm probably going to look back at this video. I think, oh my God, what the hell was I saying? But it's you're allowed, or you think you're expressing the most balanced view. Now, there are people out there who are obviously making content that's deliberately provocative or factually, philosophically, that it makes your head hurt to watch it. They'll get people who agree with them, and then they'll have people who disagree with them. But for somebody like me, I'm honestly just trying to put out my thoughts. I'm not trying to insult anyone. Of course, I get called a bigot anyway because of the nature of some of the things I talk about. But I am honestly trying to put a reasoned argument out there, and I want people to converse with me. I want to hear people's comments and why they disagree with me, because in terms of things like my abortion video, I thought very differently up until I watched Rachel Oates and
I love Rachel. Yeah, Rachel.
Yeah, she's.
And you know what's funny? I told Rachel she was going to be a superstar. I told her, I guessed it, I knew it. She's like, oh no. I was like, oh, shut the hell up. You're going to have 50,000 subs in a matter of days. Just stop.
You're the arbiter of fame.
I'm the gatekeep popularity, yes.
Yeah.
But I knew her talent. I mean, I recognized her off the bat.
Yeah.
And she's British.
Well, no, but she has her way, and she, bless her heart, she so wants people to sort of understand what she's saying, that sometimes she does a video apologizing, or she'll send a tweet saying, and I think
that I don't like. Let me give you a piece of advice.
But I can understand why she's doing that, because she's not out to
No, I get that, but let me give you a piece of advice. When you become more popular, right? And I think that you will have some success. Trust me. It's up to you because again, you came left and blah blah blah. But I think you have potential. Now, here's the thing. You're never going to make everybody happy. You're going to have people that leave comments that are shitty people. It's just the way it is. It's happened to you. I've seen it happen. Okay, and you got wrapped up with it. Don't do that.
No.
Don't do it.
I'm not ready to come back. They're not going to stop me.
Just thank you very much for your opinion. Have a nice day. Because that one idiot, there's 10,000 other people that are more willing to listen to you and have a conversation. Even if they disagree with you, that's fine. Don't worry about that. People disagree with me. Go figure. But they're willing to have a dialogue. Don't let the trolls get to you. I mean, I'm telling you, it's just the worst thing you can do because every time they do, it emboldens them. It makes them feel like they've won something. Not because they had a good argument. This is because they were an asshole.
Do you know, that's the thing. It's the trolls, the ones that leave obviously overreaching, very hateful stuff, which hasn't happened to me a great deal. It's almost easier to dismiss them. It's more, and I asked Goddess Cranium about this. We're hoping to work together, and he said, "You know what? It's more." I hope he doesn't mind me sort of mentioning this, but he says it's more the ones that have an air of constructive criticism, but given how they're written, that's not always apparent at first, and then you read, well, was there a point, or to see their sort of what they have to say about the particular subject at hand. And he says those are the ones that stay with me longer because you think, do they speak to what I was trying to say? Did I miss something? So I do believe in constructive criticism. I do. And I'm going to have like the bumps in the road. But
don't confuse constructive criticism with trolling, right? I mean, I ask for constructive criticism quite frequently. People don't think I do. But like with my blog that I just put out, I sent it to like 3 or 4 people. And I wanted the criticism. I sent it to Dave McGinnis. I sent it to a Search the Skeptic. I sent it to a Bible History Skeptic. And I sent it to Ozymandias. Give me your feedback on this. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Tell me if you think my logic is screwed. I wanted constructive criticism because why would I put out something that I think is wrong or they find to be in error, right? I want people to go, yeah, this doesn't make any sense to me. Okay, let's find out why. Or someone that I know that knows the topic, like Ozzy. Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, that's reasonable. I want that feedback. So don't mind the constructive criticism. Anybody who says that somebody doesn't value constructive criticism, that's a person, because I certainly do. I have a lot of smart people that are much more knowledgeable than I am about certain things. I will go to quite frequently. That's fine. I'm talking about the last time you had been around, and I hate to say it, you really seem to let these people get to you under your skin, and you had no reason to. You were so beyond that. Don't let them get to you, okay? There's just no reason to. You had a good voice.
You know what? It philosophically, I failed myself. I did, because the reason, I think Mac, Great Grey Skeptic, sort of explained that it was somebody who.
Oh, he's awesome too.
He is. He's such a wonderful guy, and he.
I know. Jelly with them because he gets a few stuff with Christy. There, yeah, that's okay though.
No, but I waded in on oddly enough on Cosmic Skeptics, one of his sort of threads on Twitter, and I let myself down because I did get sort of emotionally invested in what was going on in terms of they were speaking about in terms of the prophet and the whole having a child bride and then things like that sort of thing. And I put something that I considered so middle of the road. I can't remember what it was, something like, you can argue the historical aspects of childhood marriage and so on and so forth in terms of, history, all you like, but to copulate with somebody so young, I believe is wrong.
Yeah, no, I'm not a big fan. You gotta remember, I have a daughter that's starting high school.
Yeah, and I've got a little, and so
okay, I'm cool with that.
I did. I admit, and when somebody responded, it was very troll-like. He didn't need to be as sort of.
I would lose my mind. I wouldn't even know what to do. if my daughter was like, "Hey, Steve, I want to get married," you know, I'm like, it's something I couldn't process physically. I don't think mentally I could process. I really couldn't.
No.
So yeah, I'm not. I think that 18 should be mandatory. The limit of before you. I don't see a reason why to get married before you're 18. I don't get it. There's no reason to. What advantage is there? You can't even drink till you're 21. You can't vote till you're 18. What necessitates the need to be married before you're 18?
I got married at 17.
Who the hell would marry you?
I was married for 9 years, Steve.
Steve, I can't why people think you're a bit.
I can't support that. I'm just sorry. Maybe I'm old-fashioned and butt heads on that.
Well, I'm divorced now. It wasn't necessarily a great idea. So like,
clearly any woman married is not a great idea.
Hey Steve, when you were saying a few minutes ago about how you wrote that blog and then you sent it to a few people.
Yeah, I sent it to Dave.
Well, see, and that's and I don't agree with you on everything, but here's why that's one of the reasons why people should take you seriously to a certain level, because it's almost like your ideas get peer reviewed. You know, so many people that can look over the things you write. It's almost like the things you write are peer reviewed. I mean, you know, Ozzy is he's a heavy hitter. I mean.
John, real quick, the worst thing you would have is when Ozzy says, "Hey, Steve, you and I got to talk." you don't want that, okay? It's rare, but not even. But no, it's not really that bad. Like a couple days ago, Ozzy said, "Hey, let's have an off-air discussion about something," and I'm not going to go into what it was, but it was minor stuff, right? It wasn't like I made any kind of major faux pas, but it was like he gave me advice to how to do something better. I'm going to take it. You're damn right I'm going to take it, right? You gave me some advice, David, that was on my presentation. I'm going to take that advice. I'm fine with taking good advice. Let me make the distinction here. I'm fine with taking good advice. You give me shitty advice, I'm not going to take it. And if you want to take it personally,
if only you had the ability to discern which advice was good and which was bad.
That's the problem. That's why I have other people, right? I'm like, hey, is this good advice? Yeah, TT is going to be like that. I can tell you right now, TT is going to be my person, so I'm going to go to and go, hey, the topic. This person's telling me this. Is this decent advice? And she says no. I'm going to go with her.
You're not going to fall into an infinite regress of like.
Well, I'm going to take her over. Okay, no offense. When it comes to women, I'm going to take her advice over.
Is this good advice? Yeah. No, it's bad advice. Go to somebody else. I got some advice from somebody, and somebody told me it was bad advice. Do you agree with them?
Yeah. Well, I'll probably, you know what, and of all people, I'll take Christy Santiago's first because she's not only a woman, but she's a lesbian, so she knows women really well. I'm taking her advice. She's my number one go-to person for that. Yeah,
but TT's got the British accent, so I don't know.
Yeah, but she's like she said, she's been married to the same woman for 11 years. Whatever she's doing, Christy Santiago's doing it right. So
fair enough.
Yeah, get Christy in there.
Yeah.
I realised with what John's saying, I don't have to study. I don't have to converse with people in a learned environment. I could just sit back on my laurels and just speak with this accent because
I don't think I've ever had a relationship last less than 2 or 3 years.
So British and female, you won the internet. What do you expect? So now it's gonna be blood sports. It's gonna be to the death. You, Rachel Oates, and we're gonna throw in Shannon, even though she's not British, she's Canadian, but who cares? But we're gonna throw you three in the ring together.
She's from the best part of Canada.
Whoever survives.
Shannon and I would love to work with Shannon. She's just so.
Shannon will kill us all. Yeah, don't feel bad. Shannon will annihilate us. Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah.
I wish you guys could be here with me right now. I'm over here stirring a big crock pot full of chicken soup I made.
Ooh, that sounds good. Yeah.
Nice.
But anyways, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna keep this going. But topic, you want to add anything? By the way, like I said, I'm doing a debate on May. March 10th, 10 o'clock Eastern, with a guy named the Duke. It's going to be on agnosticism, a valid position. And Dave McGinnis here has looked at my outline a little bit, and a few other people. It's coming along really nicely. I'm going to stomp on.
Yeah, if I may, because it's getting quite late here. So if I
yes, I know. Give me a
I had all sorts of things I thought we were going to talk about. So I'm sorry if I've gone off.
Your husband allowed us to borrow you for a little while, but we knew we would have to give you back. We understand how it works.
Question for you, Steve. Do you have any idea in the debate who's going first?
We haven't worked out the format yet. I got to get with Modern Day Debate on that. I don't really care. I really don't. He could set it.
One of the pieces of advice that I gave you would work much better if you went first, because I know that if they go first and they say something that triggers you, then you'll have a hard time backing up.
You haven't seen me debate. I'm very, very formal in my debate style.
Okay.
If he goes first, then I get my closing statement last, which is good. But it makes no difference to me because my arguments are so foolproof that anybody who goes validates the stuff will clearly agree with me. There's no way you couldn't.
Nothing is foolproof. You are underestimating fools.
Yeah, I do underestimate fools. Nothing's foolproof.
Well, look, like Mark Twain said, you'll always lose an argument with a fool because they will bring you down to their level and beat you with experience.
Oh, yes.
Yep. Yep.
All right. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I might have a hangout later. I do want to talk about we're going to talk about induction a little bit. Just this morning, matter of fact, I had talked to Ozzy a little bit, but I actually listened to Shannon Q. And do you remember back when she had a discussion with Saitan Bernacate?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've listened to it before, but I started listening to it again this morning, especially on the ride up here. And it was a little disturbing, only for the fact that I love Shannon, and I say this with all due respect, but she got her ass handed to her. Saitan was spot on. He understood Hume's problem of induction. He related it exceptionally well. She just wasn't getting what he was throwing down. And so to prevent that from happening again, maybe I'll get with Ozzy and we'll come in. We're going to explain the actual problem with Hume's induction. It has nothing to do with the fact that the past, we've seen it happen this many times. Therefore, we're going to have an induction that it will happen this way again, and we know it can't be certain. Okay, that's true. That's not the problem of induction. The problem of induction deals with justification issues. These are epistemological questions. And so when he was telling her about the problem of induction and Hume's problem of induction, yes, I am a friend of Saitan, but I will call him out of his bullshit. He was spot on about this. I couldn't call him out. He was right. And so I think that it behooves people to maybe understand what they're getting themselves into with a presupper who starts running something along the lines about where's your justification for induction. You cannot use the excuse, well, I've seen it before this way, therefore it's going to continue on in the future. That doesn't work that way. That's circular. You're using induction to prove induction. That's not how it works.
Whenever anybody asks me if I understand induction, I say, absolutely, you're getting sleepy.
Well, yours is a hypnotic induction.
Yeah.
I want to have a hangout about that because I really want people to understand Hume's induction and the problem of uniform problem of nature or uniformity of nature and how we do justify it or cannot justify it. Because you know what? We may not be able to. The argument really should be is the presuppositionalists, they can't justify it either. All they're doing is positing some being that says, oh, yeah, I'm going to promise you that the laws of physics will be the same tomorrow as the other day.
Well, I was going to say to you that Side 10 might have been spot on what you were talking about, but it didn't bolster his own arguments at all.
Well, he was spot on about the understanding of it. Now, was his justification spot on? No, it was bullshit. Yeah, I mean, positing God as a justification is not a justification because I've told this to him before. I was like, look if you're positing God as a justification of the use of induction, how do you know God is not going to change his mind and to change the laws of physics? And his only thing is, well, God promised that he wasn't. I'm like, and you believe him? Well, he can't lie. That's an assertion. That's all that is.
Anyways, I found out today as a side note, Steve.
Yeah.
I found out that I can literally dial a number and have weed delivered to my door, even on a Sunday night.
Yeah, they have that down
10
there.
o'clock.
San Diego. They don't have them around.
Hey, David.
Yeah.
I hate you.
Like that, I didn't know this, but I can like $35. I can get like 3.5 grams.
I'm gonna try to get down to San Diego eventually. I know Brittany Simon and I want to go take a little trip somewhere. Her and I can probably head out next week or the week afterwards. Really enjoying hanging out with her. Brittany Simon's great. If you don't know who she is, go check out her channel. Brittany Simon. She's a BDSM instructor. She's a great chick. She really is. But she's a good friend. She lives like 20 minutes away, and we have a fun time. Not like you, don't be dirty people. Well, maybe. No, but anyways, TT, I want to thank you. I know this was a lot of time in the making. Please drop into our Hangouts more often. Now, granted, I have them late at night your time, so you want to be able to make the ones I have at 8. But if I have them on the weekend about noon or something, come on in, join the discussion. I mean, I only have like 4 people in now, but I've had Hangouts where I had like 35 people, well, 25 people in a business account. So, I mean, we can get really busy. We have thousands of people watching. Come join us. You're more than welcome to, because I think you're going to be a very valuable asset to the community.
I'm appreciative of the invitation. Can I just give a little?
Oh, she broke at the wrong time. What'd she say? Broke up.
I think she wanted to say something before she left.
Yeah, if that's okay.
What'd you say? Yeah, say something because you broke up.
Okay.
Stop the broadcast.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I thank you for the invitation, and it's been wonderful. I hope I've been, articulated well. This is obviously my second only ever hangout with you of all people. But just to let everybody know who's subscribed and all these wonderful comments, thank you very much. And also just, as I've been stating, I'm fairly new to all of this. So when you subscribe to me, just know that I'm, one aspect of this great, wonderful skeptic community. And that's, I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts and comments and things like that. But just to understand that, I have a different view. I don't live in a very religious sort of area. Things like that, and so just to understand that I'm learning as I go. Like you said, we just be wary of that.
Yeah, no, don't worry. We've got your back, and anytime you need advice, give us a holler. We'll help you stream. Google Hangouts are going away, like what we're doing now. They won't be here in April. We're going to be I use Zoom. I'm fine with Zoom. I like Zoom, but the things are going to be changing. But if one of my moderators, can you put Topic Thunder's actual YouTube channel in the video, in the live chat there for people? Because I forgot to put it in the link. I will do that later on tonight when I get home.
I help myself.
Well, you okay? Wait, are you in the live chat, TT?
I am. I'm actually on the.
I'm gonna make you a mod right now. So say something real quick. I'll make you a moderator of my channel. Type something in the live chat there.
I've got to run, Steve.
Okay.
Cheers.
All right,
or whatever. And
well, hey, Dave, thanks for planting that seed in my brain, because now all I can think of is what my life might be if I could get weed delivered.
No, not Kitty, TT, please, people.
There I am.
All right.
I'm just about off the hook.
And I think the British have a different name for them, by the way. I don't know what the word for boobs is in England.
Boobs?
Yeah, I don't know what they're called.
We invented boobs, didn't we? Boobs was our word.
Hell if I know. I don't know. I don't know the nomenclature. I have no idea. Tata.
Didn't they invent our language?
Yes. By the way, there actually is a weed app. No kidding. It's not in my area, but there actually is a weed app. They will deliver. Yes, in certain municipalities and in counties.
Wow.
Yeah. Why not?
Topic. Say something live chat so I can give you mods so you can put your channel in.
You've been so busy talking about boobs and weed.
I got you. Thundercat. All right. Now you have mods. Put your channel in there. Everybody go sub here. Let's get her to like 1,000 subs pretty quickly. The last time I said that was the Rachel Oates. She now has like 65,000 subs.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Screw you, Rachel. No, I love Rachel Oates a lot.
I'm going to regret talking about incels at the beginning, aren't I?
Not about me. No, no. Topic. Let me tell you. I said, Rachel, You're going to be a superstar. When you do, don't forget about me. So what happens? She becomes a superstar. And now it's like, Steve who?
No. When I told her about this, when I told her originally that I was going to be on with you last year, she said, just watch out. So she remembered.
Well, I know all you England people live next to each other. Go say hi to her when you get a chance, okay?
Oh, yeah, it's just over there.
Yeah, down the street. I think she's in Manchester or something. But no, I'm a huge fan of Rich Oates. I really am. And I'm sure that they're going to be a huge fan of you. So anyways, thank you guys for joining tonight. I'm at Applebee's. I'm having a blueberry. No, this is a raspberry margarita. It's really good. I'm going to finish it. But with that, I will see you guys tonight. When I do have another hangout tonight, probably on the Hume's induction problem. But if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.